coworker is an intelligent customer success partner.
Welcome to AI and the Future of Revenue Retention podcast, where we explore how AI is transforming customer success and revenue growth. I'm Cecile, founder of Coworker. We work with revenue and customer success leaders to improve revenue retention using AI. Let's get started. Today, I'm joined by Vaughn, a partner ecosystem executive and CRO who has spent over 20 years designing partner-led go-to-market strategies, building scalable partner programs, and optimizing PRM systems to drive predictable and data-driven revenue growth. Hi, Vaughn. Welcome to podcast.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here. It's nice to see everyone.
Absolutely great. Thank you. So just to start off, I would love for you to kind of give a little bit about introduction about yourself so our viewer will know whom they are talking to, listening to.
Yeah, so I'm Vaughn Mordecai. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I connect with a lot of people, but I have a tendency to sit in the go-to-market space. Generally speaking, I've had sales and marketing and partnerships rolling into me for most of my career. And for the current role that I'm in a company called Mind Matrix. And what we do is we have a partner platform that enables partnerships to happen at scale. So when people get involved with partnerships, they eventually hit a point where they have to have automation and AI and management practices to take care of it all. And they can't do it by hand any longer, at least at scale or to drive the kind of revenue that they're looking for. And so currently that's the role that I'm in, is the CRO of a partnerships organization. So it's good
Awesome.
to be on here, and it's a very unique topic, actually.
Awesome. Thank you. I think from that perspective, your products might be seem very relevant to our viewers, actually.
Yeah, they should
Okay.
be,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think we would try to more focus on the existing customer, right?
Yep.
So from that perspective, I'd love to know your kind of growth strategy from existing customer.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because basically my expertise falls in the partnerships area. Okay. And when you look at partner-led revenue or partner-led growth, the statistics that sit behind that suggest that if you're using partners to actually drive your revenue, not only are your deal sizes longer or larger, the time to close is shorter, your win rates are higher, and actually things like renewal rates, things like customer experience, they're all better when you're actually using partnerships as a go-to-market motion. So when people talk to me about these types of things, one of the big areas that they need to invest in is making sure that they're doing partnerships and they're doing them correctly and that partners are representing them well.
Sure, absolutely. At the same time, if you look at your customer base, right, your customer base, and think of it like expansion through your existing customer base from my metrics perspective, what are some of the kind of playbook or strategies that you have adopted to grow from your existing customers?
Yeah, it's funny. So we're a bit like the doctor's doctor, right?
Yeah.
When I got into the organization, one of the very first things that I did was actually built out a formal partner program for the technology that that manages partners,
Mm.
which is a little bit unique, but it was aimed at growing our revenue basically. And when we look at those types of playbooks and the ways that we go to market, for me personally, I use a lot of the evolving techniques around AI and evolving, playbooks and sequences and things like that a lot of others use to get in front of people. And then we've also got this partnership side of our business that I support that also does the same thing and starts to drive opportunity that way as well. So when you look at the way that we're going to market, we're sort of practicing what we preach, but
Mhm.
then we're also in to your point, and the interest that I had in being on this show was actually that we're implementing, or we have implemented AI into all of those go-to-market strategies as well.
Awesome. Okay. Now, when you have like partnership-led growth, how would you kind of keep the pulse on your customer? Do you actually more kind of rely on your partner, or you rather have more your engine to say, how would I know if some customers are kind of, in the risk of churn, or there is a potential for expansion?
Yeah, this is a good question because the answer is both. Really, what you're doing is that when you get involved with a deal, and it depends on the partner arrangement and the agreements and things like that. There are times where you'll own that partner once the deal has landed, and so you'll get into the land and expand, and you'll do the things that you need to do to grow that client or that customer. But then there are other times where you're sitting in the background, where you're supporting the partner as they try to expand using those same or similar techniques. And the way that you approach it is all depending on that relationship between the partner and your organization. In both cases, you're trying to expand. In both cases, you're trying to drive strong relationships between the customer and the persons that are servicing that account. But you have to go about it in slightly different ways, which is really unique, actually.
Mhm. So today, for this customer, I'm sure you are using partner to sell your system as well, right? So basically,
Yeah.
as you said, what you preach, you are doing the same thing. Uh, what are the signals that you are getting, or what are the signals that you try to analyze on your existing customer to say, oh, okay, there is some expansion opportunity versus like, oh, this is not going well. I mean, it might have a churn risk there. What
Yeah.
signal you leverage?
Yeah, we use some similar things. I mean, so from a platforming standpoint,
Mhm,
we have the ability to set up automation and things like that that give us a good view of
mhm,
how things are progressing. Are the engagement rates correct? Are they engaging with the platform the way that they should?
mhm,
Engagement for us is a really big deal, whether that's customer engagement or whether it's partners engaging with our customers. That if engagement levels drop, it puts your viability as the product at risk. And
yeah,
so a lot of what we track, or a lot of what we look at, is related to engagement and experience around that platform. If they're engaged, if they're having a good experience, and those engagement levels and experience levels lead to predictable outcomes, then you know that they're going to stick
yeah.
around. If
Mhm,
they're not engaged and they're not getting to the predictable outcome, automation can tell us that they're at risk. And
mhm.
then we can try to do something about it. But chances are, unless you pick up on that early enough, you're going to find a churn problem that you may not have realized that you were going to have if you weren't looking at those things.
Yeah, absolutely. By the time you find it might be too late, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. What are some of the roadblocks? Let's say, for example, you identify there is some signal that says, hey, there is an opportunity for expansion, or there's a risk for the churn, either through partner or you directly, right? Uh,
Yep.
what are the bottlenecks from those signal to action, right? You got the signal. Now we need to kind of save that, or we need to leverage that opportunity to sell them more, right? So what are the
Yep.
roadblocks? What are the bottlenecks that you get in between?
Well, it's interesting because basically in today's work environment, the average person is probably sticking around in their role for 3 to 4 years. Maybe it's less than that, actually. And so one of the biggest bottlenecks to this is churn, in
Mm,
terms of who owns the technology that you're actually providing them.
mm,
And so as that churn occurs, if you've lost your primary stakeholder, you've got to pay an awful lot of attention as to whether that next stakeholder is picking up where the previous one left off in a way that is meaningful for their business.
Mm.
And so, from a bottlenecking standpoint, you really, and based on how buyer committees are working now and things like that. I mean, there are just more people in the room than there ever used to be. Um, you've got to make sure that you're selling using account-based selling techniques so that from that exact standpoint, you know who you're selling to when you want to expand. You know, how do I move past the first original stakeholder into these other groups that may be consuming other parts of my platform that the first customer didn't necessarily care about that much.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense, and I think that's a great point. I think one of the key thing is the champion, right? Whether,
Yep.
kind of a usage champion or like you're a sponsor, basically. I mean,
Yes.
that's where we build the relation and we sell, and then yeah, our main relationship goes away, then that's a really high risk. No, that's a really great point. Okay, great.
Yeah, and
Um,
we actually knock around where you know a VP or a CRO might be the sponsor of our platform. Well,
mm,
when you look at how often or CROs roll over, their time to exit in a business oftentimes is around 18 months. So
mm,
depending on the complexity of your software, you may be finding that your sponsor rolled over in some cases before you've ever even got it implemented. And so those account-based selling techniques are
uh,
extremely important for your AEs that are trying to manage those accounts.
That's very insightful. Yeah, depends on for how long they already been in the organization and when you sell it and how long they're gonna stay there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's very insightful. Great. Okay. So I think from this perspective, I know in your partnership kind of platform, you already have AI, some sort of AI already there. So give me some view of like what kind of AI you are been leveraging on, especially on managing the existing customer, right? The post-sale engagement. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna steal something from a friend actually that I was at an event last week speaking and doing some things, and the guy that wrapped up the keynote speaker at the end of it um, said that he got up and he said, "Okay, we're going to talk about AI." And I thought he was going to actually talk about AI in your business, but what he talked about was AI personally.
sure.
Okay. And what to do with this, what to do with AI. And the thing that I've got to constantly think through for myself and in my sales environments is how can I use AI to solve the administrative problems
Mhm.
that allow me to be more human and build more relationships? And that's
Absolutely.
that's a that's a really curious take because a lot of folks look at AI and in the sales or in the growth environments, they're looking at this as a replacement for humans, or
Mhm.
they're going to replace me. My job is going to be replaced.
Absolutely.
But what he's suggesting is the smart employee will be the human in the loop, right? So you'll be the human that's actually driving these AIs. And in the growth environment that you're talking about, one of the best ways to do that is to actually create a digital twin for yourself that takes care of the administrative items that sound, that can write like you, that can actually create content like you would, and then allows you to spend more time on the things that you need to do to actually build and grow and expand instead of putting together slide decks and putting together
Yep.
proposals and putting together emails. And it's very different, but that's what I suggest to people as they start to think about, how do I
Mhm.
use AI to continue my sales expansion?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And that's what they say, people, AI is not replacing human being, but humans who use AI will replace the other you, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically and that's the exact philosophy we have. That's where we kind of take on all the busy work out of you so that you can really focus strategically on building the relationship with your customer, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, that's a very, very good point. So I think 2026 is already here. We are almost done with the quarter. And there are few things that are shifting in, especially in post-sale engagement area, right? They call it customer success, and customer success has some actually started moving into CRO, where they used to be separate wing by themselves. And all of this AI is coming in, and customer are becoming more smart, meaning they want to see the ROI, right? Otherwise, they're not going to stick for long. And the competition is building up more because now people started using AI and new products are coming in, new generation products are coming in. So market is tough, right? Market is tough,
Yep.
right?
It is.
So from that perspective, as a CRO leader, what do we need to prepare for 2026? Or what you have already prepared, let's say.
Yeah, we work really hard on helping our salespeople to embrace AI and to embrace AI selling techniques, but at the same time, they can't sound like AI.
Sure, sure,
Right. And
sure.
so there's a fair amount of sales enablement that's going into
Mhm.
how do you help them do things faster without being so mechanical and robotic that people can see right through what you're doing. And one of my biggest pet peeves right now actually is so I connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn. My network's fairly large. I'll connect with most people as long as I can tell they're not going to just overtly sell to me. Now,
Mhm.
I'm a salesperson, right? There
Sure.
is selling that goes on there, but when you see the automated responses that make no sense and they're
Mhm.
trying to connect you to something and then they pivot to something completely different than that makes no sense to your business,
Mhm.
it's really rough. And so trying to teach my sales and go to market teams that, there's a real place for AI to speed things up, but boy, you've got to be human about what you're doing or else it is so easy to just piss people off and to frustrate them and to help them and to make them realize that you know nothing about them if
Yeah.
you're not careful.
No, absolutely. I agree. And I get tons of those kind of emails and LinkedIn messages always. So that's really insightful. No, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. And before I let you go, is there anything that you would like to add, that anything that I did not ask you, or anything you want to add overall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm because I've got this expertise in partnerships, I'm constantly just telling people that eventually your direct selling motions run their course and you can't expand or you can't drive as much revenue as you'd like without partnerships. And if you can get partnerships into your go-to-market strategy, that expansion of your business, the expand part that happens after your land can go on so much more from a scale standpoint than a direct sales hire of an AE or someone like that ever would. You hire one account executive or an account manager, and they might have five partners that might also have five sellers in the room. So you, as one person, ends up with 25 people that are actually representing your business as opposed to the one sales hire that you might have made otherwise. And when you look at the scale that that can produce on your expansion, it is very, very meaningful.
No, I think that's very, very grateful insight, and we are actually kind of thinking from that perspective as well. So thank you so much for that insight. Really appreciate it. Again,
Yeah.
thank you. It was great chatting with you. I know our viewers will, I think, love the insights that you provided. So thank you so much for really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Really great to be here. Take
Thanks.
care.
Thanks.
Feel free to contact us if you want to learn more about how AI can help customer success.